and welcome to the pod. I'm your host, Grace, and with us we have Hannah, who's going to teach us all about how to become a somatic coach. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So please tell me what that is.
So somatic is basically the nervous system. And mainly what I do is I help women heal their nervous systems so that they can achieve their goals, in short.
Wow, that's amazing. I feel like, as you just said before this is getting increasingly popular, right?
Yeah.
Which is a great time to be a part of it. Yeah. But we'll get into that, but take us all the way back to the beginning. And what did you want to be when you were growing up?
So I actually wanted to be a police officer.
No way.
Yeah, I studied criminology and sociology at uni. And I think I just applied because I used to watch CSI and I used to be obsessed with all of that world. And I remember going into one of the first lectures and it was a sociology lecture. And one of the professors was like, just to let you know, all of you who have signed up because you've watched CSI, I was like, it's going to be nothing like that.
Oh, I got caught out.
Well, yeah. And it was basically ended up being predominantly sociology and very little criminology. I mustn't have read the fine print. And so I ended up doing this degree where I was like, I don't even know if I can be a police officer in this degree. But as I went on, I was like, oh, I'm actually really interested in the sociological, like how society has been impacted by the structures and how it impacts the way that we think and we feel. And I guess the psychology behind that, I was like, oh, this is sparking an interest in humans, I suppose, and connection. And just, yeah, it started to spark ideas. But by the time I finished uni, I still didn't know what I wanted to do.
Isn't that funny where we go in with this idea and then we're already there and we're like, oh no, maybe this isn't what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's a big decision to make so young though, isn't it? Like going to uni.
Such a pressure. And I feel like most of us just do it because our mates are doing it.
Yeah.
Jump on the bandwagon. And then, I mean, I don't regret a day of it, but I think if I was to go back, it would be a different degree.
Yeah. I think a lot of people feel that as they get older. But also it is just like so much fun. Like you meet loads of people there and you have a good time. So it's all worth it.
Totally, yeah.
So what did you do after uni when you thought this isn't what I want to do anymore?
Well, I think in a way I'm grateful that I didn't know what I wanted to do because I left and went traveling and lived abroad for 3 years.
Oh, nice.
So I was in the Southern Hemisphere, Australia, New Zealand, Asia, all that kind of thing. And I think it was like, okay, I'm 21, I have all this time and I don't know what I want to do. So let's go away and get inspired or hope to get inspired. And I think when I was away, I lived in Byron Bay for most of the time that I was in Australia. And it's very like connection to nature. It's historically a very hippie town. And so I think when I was there, I started to find I was more, I guess, connected to myself in ways. Because what I do is very connection to self oriented. And so I think when I was living there, I was like, oh, okay, I'm starting to become more in touch with myself and therefore interested in like, how can I bring this to the world? Still didn't really know what I wanted to do. And then because I'm a Pilates teacher by background as well, I still teach Pilates. And when I was in Bali, I had quite a bad, this actually started my Pilates career. I ended up, I was on a boat party and you know, those boat parties that you go to that are just wild. And it's just, everyone's drinking and there's alcohol all over the floor. And I remember just being absolutely out of my head and I slipped and fell down some stairs.
Oh no.
And I landed on my neck and I have no recollection of it, but I was in a really bad way for like quite a long time afterwards. And I then started to do Pilates this was about 6 months later where I could actually do exercise again. I started Pilates and then that inspired me to, I was like, okay, because I healed myself with it. And I was like, okay, I feel like maybe this is a catalyst for me to come home because I was feeling homesick. So I was like, do I come home and learn to be a teacher? Because you know when you do something and you either heal yourself from it or you're so inspired by it, you want to just share it with everybody.
100%, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So that led me to being like, okay, I've just healed my body. Like what could have been a really bad spinal injury from doing Pilates. I was noticing my posture was better. I was feeling better. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll come home. And yeah, training it.
Isn't that amazing? Like something that could have been, and it obviously was really bad because you were in pain, but something that could have been really terrible, you've actually managed to bring something really good from it.
Yeah.
Which is like one of the nice moments where you're like, okay, I've turned this around for myself. So you came home and you were a Pilates teacher here. And how was that? Was it very different?
Yeah, I mean, I trained with one of the best because I was like, right, if I'm going to come home and do this, I want a proper course. I want a year-long course where I'm diving into like anatomy and the pure methodology of Pilates because I think there's such a misconception about what it actually is. So I was like, right, I want to go home. And I trained with the guy who brought it to the UK, the first person to bring it to the UK in the 70s.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
cool.
really cool. So came home, trained under him, and he was amazing. I had the most phenomenal training, and then it set me up to just, I started teaching in studios in London, and that kind of, the ball started rolling in my interest in the body. And I guess that the way it led me to somatics, one of the main things I was noticing was that like people would come in and they would have like, kyphosis, which was basically, the like rounded shouldered posture. People would come in and they'd have that, and they'd leave looking great. Like they'd leave shoulders back looking, like a reformed person. But then they'd come in, and a lot of the people I was working with initially were really stressed 9-to-5 workers, and they would come in and like their posture would almost be like the same. And I was like, how is it that we've been working together for so long and you're like coming in like this? And I was like, I feel like there's something more to it. Like there's something where our bodies hold stress in a way that we can't just get rid of through exercise. And then I was like, oh, like I didn't even know what the nervous system was at this point. But this is what started to lead me onto like Googling, I think at this time, just being like, why do people still hold stress in their body even when you've stretched it out? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was the kind of beginning of like, ooh, mind, body, there's something deeper here to be acknowledged.
When you say there was a misconception about Pilates, what is that misconception, do you think?
So my experience of it, and like, look, it's no shade on anyone, but like a lot of studios, a lot of people are buying reformer beds, the reformer beds.
I've seen them everywhere.
Yeah, and like obviously it's such a trend, but I've been to so many classes where like I think I was doing RDLs at one point on a reformer bed, and I'm like, that's not Pilates. People will get you to do lunges for like an hour, and I'm like, it's not Pilates.
Right.
Like Pilates is actually a methodology. It's not choreography. Like it's exercise, but like the guy who invented it, Joe Pilates, he created this method whereby you create so much heat through certain exercises within your body that it was designed to flush out, like not necessarily disease. Apparently he claimed he cured himself of rickets and all these other like diseases that he had. But the idea is that it's a methodology where you squeeze your muscles in a certain way and it kind of flushes out tension from your body. So you're less likely to get things like colds and things like that.
Wow.
If you actually stick to the true methodology, which is not how it's perceived, is it?
Yeah, because I think it's gotten so popular, hasn't it? I guess people start doing their own thing with it, which is not really the point.
No.
Yeah. Wow.
And it kills me a little bit because I'm like, guys,
this isn't right. Especially when you train for so long, and like with that training, that's got to have been so different from a uni degree. And was that like a hard change?
I guess it was quite nice because, do you know what? Actually, it was so nice. It was
Really?
so cruisy. Yeah, because at the time, I was living at my aunt's place and she lives in this really nice house in Hammersmith. I just moved to London. I was barely paying her any rent. I wasn't really having to worry about, I think I had a little job as a waitress around the corner, cash in hand. And it was just, I guess it's a rare opportunity where you can focus being, supported by family, being able to actually focus on something that's potentially going to drive your career and not have to worry about money, like living in one of the most expensive cities in the world. Like,
yeah.
And that's a blessing, isn't it?
100%. It's so different to what you hear about most people like living in London, where it's like the rat race, you're constantly working, the grind. And I'm like, how lovely to hear that you had a very different experience of that. And that is possible.
Yeah.
And then Pilates really fit into that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That is really cool. So you've learned that, and then you were diving deeper. So what is being a somatic coach in a deeper level when you figured it out?
Because I guess when most people ask me that, I'm like, hey, I need to tell you this in 10 seconds.
No. Like I guess, where did you start with that? When you were researching, you're like, oh, there's something deeper. What led you on, and how did you learn?
So actually, it was in a Pilates studio that I worked at. It was in Highbury in Islington, which was crazy because it was so far away from Hammersmith. But I remember working there, and I was working with these two Spanish girls. And over the course of about 6 months of knowing them, teaching alongside them, I was like, there's something different about these girls. Like that they feel like there's something that they seem like they're evolving, or they just feel, I don't know, there was just like a pleasant how sometimes you're just drawn to people and they just feel really like yummy and nice to be around.
Yeah.
And I was starting to feel this around these girls, but like more and more. And I was like, I wonder what they're doing. Like, I wonder if, like, yeah, I wonder what they're doing. So I asked them, and they were doing, at the time, they were doing something called craniosacral therapy, which is another body-based modality. I'm going to butcher the explanation if I try to describe it, but it's basically like, it's a somatic process, not quite what I do, but body-based. And so that was my entry point. I was like, okay, I'm just going to try this. And I remember going for a session with this woman in Putney, and I was absolutely blown away by it. And I think that was then my entry point into like, because at the time, and I don't know if a lot of people know this about me, but I used to be quite depressed and really anxious. My self-esteem was really, really, really low. Like, but I didn't realize it because, like, you know, you just kind of, you live your life, you're young, you think this is who I am. And then I think I did this session and I left feeling different. And I think the thing about somatic work is like you're working on a level that's beyond cognition. So it's not like think positive thoughts. Yes, okay, we have to change our belief systems. But the work that I do works on like it's like a physiological level. So let's say, you know, if someone's feeling anxious, we can actually transmute that and kind of into what's called integrate it into the body through some of the methods that I use so that they don't feel anxious anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool because
That is really cool.
Yeah, that's. I feel like that kind of explains it in a way.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, how do you train to do that?
Lots of training. So
Is
much
it?
training. Yeah, I started. I did a coaching course. I'm very drawn to American coaches. It's interesting. They're big on this in America. We haven't quite caught up here, which is why I'm excited to be doing it here. But I first trained with this woman. In America, but I did it on online coaching certification, and part of that was somatic work. It was looking at different levels of change, so how to get people to change behaviorally, emotionally, mentally, looking at all these different levels of change, which is really cool. She infused like psychology and Buddhism and neuroscience and somatic, and it was always the somatic modules that I was like, what is this? Like, what is this? I think it was because I was, you know, someone that was so stressed, because anxiety is stress, basically, like having felt so stressed, when I could get that moment of like relief that was like a felt sense of like, you know, the way some people might get after they do a yoga class, which is like a temporary version of it. But like, yeah, it was just something about the way it was making me feel. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to have to actually go and take this seriously and do this properly. And so I'm actually in my third year of it's basically like a uni degree of a proper somatic experiencing. It's actually it's a trauma modality. Like it's designed for trauma, but it's designed to heal humans, basically. So yeah.
That is amazing. I didn't realize it would be like 3 years as well. That's wild. So if anybody's listening and thinks, oh, this is what I would want to do, it is a long course and you've really got to get into it to do it properly.
Well, I think the most important thing is, and I think this is where, like, you know, there's going to be loads of somatic coaches in 5 years, but it's like, who's actually done the work?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it's both the training, but I think what I've realized with this, it's the embodiment of it.
Right.
Meaning, like, I have done about 10 years of therapy in this now. I mean, it becomes a bit of an addiction for me because I just love that kind of personal development, but you have to have really gone deep within your own nervous system, meaning like we carry stuff from past generations, not just our own stuff. So it's like, if you really want to be able to hold space for someone, okay, I'm going to explain it in a different way. So when you're with a client,
yeah,
what happens is, let's say like we're doing a session now, we're going to be doing something called co-regulation, meaning our bodies are actually going to be communicating with each other without us even realizing it. So let's say like if I came in and I was like, oh, and I was a bit aggy and I was a bit stressed, like you probably would be reacting to that, like maybe not even realizing it, but maybe you'd be like, oh, I feel a bit uneasy. So the point is that as a coach, as a therapist, we have to make sure that our nervous systems are in this state of like being regulated, i.e. the other person's nervous system can go, okay, this person's like calm and grounded, like something physiological in you can relax. And it's also that your nervous system can unconsciously feel that my nervous system has gone to like, has basically healed parts of myself, like insecurities and things like that, that I think are required. Like, I think it's a requirement for somatic therapists to do the deep work so that we can hold this space and like see people, like really see people.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It's fascinating because I literally had no idea that's what it was. That is amazing. Was there a time when you were doing that for yourself where you were like, this is really hard? Or were
The
you
work.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine it's like when you're going through all that because you have to have done it for yourself, it's kind of like you might get to a point where you're like, I don't know if I can do this. This is going quite deep.
Yeah, it's really intense.
Is it?
It's well, I mean, the modality that I'm learning is very gentle.
Mm-hmm.
But don't get me wrong, like, you have to feel some like serious stuff, and sometimes we don't even realize that it's there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I guess because, and you know what's so fascinating as well is that, like, if you probably will resonate with this, if your mum is, when she's pregnant with you, she's stressed, like cortisol is literally going through the umbilical cord into you, so you can be born with like small, like more likelihood,
Wow.
to be stressed. And so my mum, I think, had a bit of a stressful time. I think she was studying to be a doctor whilst pregnant with me, which I was like, come on.
That is stressful.
Do you know what I mean?
Literally. That is wild. I mean, you must be able to go down so many different avenues because even thinking about that, I'm like, there's so much to learn even with that. It really
It's
is.
so fascinating. Like, yeah, I could talk about it for days.
Yeah, I can imagine, which I love because you can like tell how passionate you are about it. So how do you coach? You do it one-to-one, you do it with a class of people. How does that happen?
Both.
Okay.
So I do one-to-one, which I feel like is not necessarily my preferred, but you can go really deep with one-to-one because it's just you two. So that's one-to-one, and then I do workshops, and I've just started doing online masterclasses actually as well. So monthly masterclasses.
And being able to do those 3 different ways, I'm guessing you're self-employed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like you've kind of starting your own business and stuff. Like that's scary in itself. Like you have to build all that up. How have you found that?
Really challenging at times.
Yeah.
And I think because I feel like I've gone through the worst of it, but I do know it's very much like this. Like you have moments, and it's very secular, isn't it? Like, I mean, I don't know how you are when, you know, you're menstruating, but I'm like, I have to put everything aside and I can't do anything for a block of like 5 days. Like I turn into mush. And so it's like, as a woman, also navigating my cycle as I'm, you know, trying to navigate this. But yeah, don't get me wrong, I've had moments of absolute meltdown.
Yeah, I can imagine because you're learning something and building something at the same time. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then don't even get me started on the social media stuff.
I
I'm
was
like,
gonna say I hate it. Like honestly, because the rules are always changing. You've got to build it up, and it's like it's a whole job in itself.
yeah, and the marketing yourself, and you know, I'm training it myself in sales as well. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm actually playing the part of a team.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
for sure.
Yeah.
And you're up against people who are paying teams.
Yeah.
Like which is wild because the wellness community is huge, right? And so I can imagine it's quite competitive.
I feel fortunate in that I don't feel that in my work because
Okay.
I'm going to blow my own trumpet. I'm so good at what I do.
Nice.
And I think there's a lot of somatic therapists, but I don't think there's a lot of somatic coaches.
What's the
from my
difference?
knowledge?
Sorry.
So somatic therapy would be like you could do ad hoc, or you could come weekly, and it wouldn't be necessarily like goal oriented. And with a therapist, you see them once and then you're not really gonna email them. You're not gonna cross that boundary. Whereas with my work, it's like programs. So we have it's like a little container that we have, and I have a WhatsApp group with my clients, and we'll have a session, and then there'll be more contact in the weeks in between calls to make sure that, you know, they're doing the things that they need to be doing, having little touch points. And I send audio trainings to my clients as well, just based on my own knowledge about the nervous system and what they're experiencing, so that they can have that understanding of what's happening, as well as like the felt sense. Because I think we kind of need, I mean, I personally need that. I don't know about you, when you're learning something, you're like, yeah something new. So
It's a lot more goes into it than just them one-to-one sessions.
yeah, it's like a whole, it's like a collaboration. I always say that to people, and it's really about, you know, I always say to people, I'm like, look, I work best with people who are actually ready to go there, because it's not going to be light. Like it's going to be amazing and profound, but like you're going to have to step out your comfort zone. And if that doesn't feel like, I try and coach people into their readiness, but it's not for everyone because it's a lot.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah.
Have you found that people sometimes have come like quite reluctant because it's a new thing? Like I didn't know what it was. People don't really know what it is. It's like you kind of have to really teach people as you go. And that's like a constant job in itself.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think what I've realized though is I think my ideal clients, the women who get the most out of it are people who've done it before.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is why I do workshops, because it's like it's a nice way to have an introduction to me and the work in a more gentle setting.
Yeah.
It's a bit less intimidating doing it in a group because you're not going to go deep
Yeah.
in the way that you would in a one-to-one.
And like if you haven't heard about it, you're like, oh, I'll come and see what it's all about.
Yeah.
It is really cool though. With someone that maybe want to do it, what would you say, what values would they need to be able to do it? Like other than the passion that you have, what else would you say? Because you don't, like if someone's listening, like I could do it, could they?
Do you know what? I think one of the main things is actually like personal responsibility.
Okay.
Because you have to look at yourself. Like you have to be willing to look at yourself, even when, you're deflecting something, or, you just got to be willing to go there. And I think it's just being humble, like as humble as possible. But yeah, I think it's really just being willing to go there and it's the way I see it is that it's using everything and everyone as a mirror. So if someone is being a certain way towards you, I'm never about blaming, but I'm like, okay, so what is it in me? What is it in me that could potentially be contributing to this,
Yes.
And I think a lot of people aren't necessarily willing to do that. It's easy to say, oh, they've done that, it's their fault. But actually, to stand there and go, okay, how could I actually not blame myself and not gaslight myself, but how can I be like, okay, so what did I just do there that potentially,
100%. Yeah. It's like you're constantly on a personal journey with it. And that's not in a lot of jobs or a lot of careers.
Yeah.
Do you know like what your favorite thing is or what's the best thing that's happened because of your job? Like, do you have something that you're like, this is really cool?
Yeah, the relationship that I have with myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Like how much that's improved?
Massively.
Really?
So I did a talk yesterday, and it was I've been doing a public speaking course, and it's become a pattern now with every workshop that I do and every talk that I do. I cry at the end.
Really?
Yeah, because it's very personal to me. Like the story I tell when I'm doing my workshops, I'm like, here's about me. This is why I do what I do. This is why I care so much. I've gone from this to this. And I think what it brings up, like, because what this work does, it's like, it actually gives you more access to love. And it's not that I didn't love before, but like, it gives you like a deeper access to love and pleasure and happiness and joy and like all of these emotions, which like we're striving for.
Yeah.
And it actually gives you so much more access to that. And so I think it brings up something of like, oh my God, like I get to actually do this for a living.
Yeah.
You know
that's
what I mean?
really cool.
Yeah.
Them kind of feelings not get a vote from many careers.
No. But they should.
But they should. And it's nice to know that there are careers out there that you can get that from, because you had no idea when you were at uni or whatever that you were ever going to get into this, and you found something you're so passionate about.
Yeah.
And you're going to, I guess, keep doing this.
Yeah, I've got big plans. Like I'm obsessed with it. And I think that when I look at all the people I admire who are really successful, that is what they all have in common. Like they're obsessed with what they do.
Yeah.
And I really think that passion is just, you can get so far with it, can't you?
100%. I feel like that's like one of the things people are missing quite a lot from their jobs, which is a bit of a shame. But it's different like priorities, isn't it? I guess it's like money or convenience, or because with this being very new, being a somatic coach, it could feel very risky as a career. But your passion kind of took over.
Because I guess when you start seeing results, I've worked with enough people now to be like, okay, this is epic. I get epic results, and people need it so badly, especially women. So I'm at the minute doing some training around the female nervous system because I like want that to be my speciality. And yeah, the main thing is the fact that we're in such a dopamine driven world, and the main regulator for women for our nervous systems is oxytocin that we need. So all of us are like severely deprived of it. And so I'm like, okay, well, if I have something that is like a solution to that, which, at the minute, okay, maybe a lot of people are like, well, what is that? What's the point in it, kind of thing. It takes a while for these things to become more mainstream. But I just know in 5 years or so, it's going to be like in demand because people are already more connected to themselves, I would say, than like 5 years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's definitely more like, oh, I don't want to say accepted, but people speak about it more openly, I think. And, and you're right, more people are going to Pilates and things like that. All this wellness stuff. Obviously, we had Danny on who did breath work, which I'd never done before. And it's like, I think there is a real space for it now, which is really nice. What are your plans? What are your dreams and goals for it?
I just want to crack the UK.
Yeah, literally just become like a big name here and spread it far and wide.
Yeah, because I just think we hold different stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way that our society is. We have the phrase, what is it, like, well, children should be seen and not heard, and like everything. There's like a stereotype, isn't there, of British families of like putting everything under the rug.
Yeah,
like,
literally the politeness, like don't bring it up, don't talk about it. Like,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But what comes with that is a lot of suppression of authenticity, and this is why I think a lot of people's purposes are quelled because like a lot of people have stuff that's just been pushed down, and so I see that with a lot of people who come into calls with me, and I'm like, okay, there's something about this country where people are wanting it, but like there's a fear around, really stepping into it because the energy around this in America is completely different. Like there's so many people who do this. Apparently, according to some of my therapist friends over there, the American attitude is like, if someone wants to do a coaching, let's say someone jumps on a call with a potential coach, and the coach will state their fees, and they'll be like, hell yeah, like I'm worth that.
Oh, I love that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Like the higher the price, the more they're like, oh, I'm worth it kind of thing.
I want to invest this in myself.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
It's
It's
nice.
like prioritizing your wellness, which I don't think we're very good at here either.
No.
And that's something I would hope would definitely go up. I know you're quite new, but just well, not you're new, but like the somatic situation is quite new.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still feel like supported by a community? Like, do you feel like there's a lot of people around you? Because I feel like working for yourself can get quite lonely. But do you feel supported, or do you have people that you lean on, or mentors or things like that?
Yeah. I'm quite good at hiring people. Like if I'm like, right, I'm stuck, I need a bit more support. I've hired like multiple people over the last few years, but I'm now at this point where I'm kind of at a steady pace where I'm like, okay, I can kind of do this on my own, but I will like a select group of friends who are doing this, like really close friends who are doing their own thing. So I'll either send them a message or I'll message somebody else. I'm doing some swaps with some people as well. That's a nice thing to do actually for anyone like doing this kind of thing, finding people who like I'm working with someone at the minute who's marketing, someone else who's branding, specializing in, and then in return I'm doing some somatic sessions for them. So it's quite a nice way of like exchange.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. That is really lovely. And that's also like people helping people.
Yeah.
Which is really important. Especially if you're trying to break something new into the UK, you need that.
Yeah.
Have you had anything that's been like, not bad feedback, but something that's been like a bit scary that you didn't expect while doing this journey?
Feedback.
Yeah. Or like something where you're like, this is brand new and I'm not sure how to deal with it.
Yeah, I think even now, like sometimes, because some people that I've worked with, some women have no connection to their emotions at all.
Really?
Can't feel anything, and there's complete numbness. And I think it's because I have these 30-minute consultation calls. I could work with someone like that over time in a program. I think what I've struggled with in like a conversation is like, okay, how do I help someone in 30 minutes? It's virtually impossible. Who can't really connect to their emotions. Like, how do I show them the power of this? Because they're less likely to sign up than someone who has heard of somatic, or they're a bit more connected, has that curiosity. So it's like, for me, it's the hurdle of like, okay, how do I either create something for these people who are not ready yet? And this is what I'm currently thinking about. Like, how do I create smaller things for people just to give them a taste? So yeah, I think that's always the hurdle.
Yeah, it's so funny because like when you're training and stuff, you wouldn't expect that hurdle, and I guess you're just learning as you go. It's quite exciting though. I feel like people are going to listen to this. We're going to have like a whole new wave of somatic coaching.
I hope so.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
And will you eventually teach, do you think? Would you train people to do it?
Maybe.
Is that something completely different?
It's something completely different, but I feel as though like I'm naturally a teacher. Like I've been teaching Pilates for like don't know, 7 years or something. So I like that, like, yeah, I like that teaching aspect. But I think that would be like, that feels like something I would do at 40 or something,
Yeah.
or 45 or maybe 50.
The
when I'm happy.
experience
Yeah.
like behind you. This may be a silly question, but do you think you need to be into like yoga and Pilates to be into this?
Like somatic work.
Yeah.
In the sense of like wellness.
Yeah, like do you think if you wanted to be a somatic coach, really you should, it's easier if you're into everything else, or can you be into this independently?
I think it's unlikely that someone would book a call with me unless they were already doing some kind of self-care thing, I think.
Yeah, get you.
Because if someone's just, if someone is completely,
You wouldn't have probably even heard of
disregarding
it.
their health, they won't care about me.
It's not going to be like a priority on the list.
I'm the last thing they're going to invest in. I mean, so it's like, how do I get those people?
That's yeah. Well, that's the next challenge for you, I guess.
Yeah.
But I guess that's quite nice right now because people are already coming willing. Like my mum's a therapist, and sometimes she's like, sometimes people come and they don't even know or think they need help, and she's like, that's so much harder because it's like trying to convince them. It's going to take a whole lot more time. So it's nice people are coming to you kind of already ready for it.
Yeah. It's really cool, actually.
It's really cool. I'm quite amazed. Like, I'm excited to hear more about it. But is there any like words of wisdom or like lasting piece of advice for people that might want to take this as a career?
I would say invest in yourself in the sense that go and experience it for yourself. Go and have the somatic experience in therapy. Like go and experience that for yourself first. And then it's investing in like don't go cheap with the training. Like don't do like a week's training, like really go in and do it properly, because the results that you'll get, like, and the clients that you will have will pay that back quite easily. It's a well-paid industry when you're good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that was perfect. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on. That was like very different to anything we've had. So
My pleasure.
That's
Thank you for having
wonderful.
me. So fun.